Hello guys, it's Tube here, back with the other project that the 7th Morioh Warrior dev sent me. He was part of a team that was developing, let me pull it up here, another 7 stand user project. This one is a Part 5 fan game, the 7th Gangstar. Lucky us, lucky us. Now, I haven't touched this one at all yet. I'm pretty much going into this blind. All I've really noticed is that there are some save files here already. I don't know what that's all about. I'll probably take a look at them later, but yeah, this is basically, well, what you see. Oh, wow, okay. Uh, huh. Place your bag and everything you're carrying in this tray. When you're done, proceed with the pat down. Okay, wow, this is just straight cold open. I was not expecting that. No speed wagon here. I guess that kind of makes sense. Won't be able to contact Della Hun. Guess I'm on my own for this one. Fila? Probably Fila. Carrying some kind of rifle. Hmm. Prisoner N28 cell is through the gate ahead. Proceed straight. The prisoner's cell is protected with reinforced glass. You're prohibited from touching the glass, but you can still speak through it. You're also forbidden from bringing anything in or out. You got 15 minutes for your visit. The door will close behind you. If anything happens, shout for us. If anything happens. Just as a precaution, we'll be here in case anything happens for your safety. Hey, you got 15 minutes. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure what to say. Now the developer did tell me some things about this project. Kind of forgetting them right now. I'll have to read back over them. So I'll just go into this blind and see how it goes, I guess. That silk hat you're wearing. That silk hat, pattern wear on its brim. Why don't you know of its significance? It is a family heirloom, is it not? Your silk hat. It was passed down to you from past generations, yes. What is your hat's significance to you? Do tell. Uh, well, you're right. My hat's been handed down to me from my family. Oh? Oh, oh. Is that truly all it is to you? Why don't you lend me your ear for a moment? This may be conjecture, but you are a member of the Zeppeli lineage, correct? It is truly fascinating how a member of your bloodline once again returns to the underworld. Before the days of our syndicate, perhaps some score 70 years ago, the underworld of Italy was in a dark age, ruled by many rats and crooks. Among the few great men who shook the streets of Italy, a terror rose to great power. Heralded as a man who had committed every crime short of murder, whispered amongst many as a man with incredible power and talents invisible to us. This legendary figure, however great, had one day vanished upon the wind. But his legacy, his memory, carried on as an urban legend. Um, hmm. So this section might not be complete. That might be why save files are there. So let me poke around a bit. Okay, so looks like we'll have to go off of one of these save files because intro to the game isn't properly put in. So go with this one. It's the most complete out of the three. Oh, is this yours? No. I see. It's mine. So let's say there's a bag here. There were 100,000 euro inside. Would you return it? Are you joking? Of course I'd take it. Ah, you're honest. But let's say, what if I was a policeman in disguise, and I saw you doing something like that? I'd give you half of the money and ask you to stay quiet. Probably. Wow, that's nice. That's really something. You probably would do that. I can tell you're not lying. You know? I can tell whether or not someone is telling the truth. And well, I'm almost never wrong. I can tell by looking at the skin of someone's face. It starts to glisten when someone sweats, right? I just analyze the extent of it. But I can get an even better idea if I get a taste of their sweat. Who are you? Leaky-eyed Luca was found unconscious near the airport this morning. His own shovel rammed into his skull. He's in critical condition and likely will not regain consciousness. I'm looking for the culprit. Giorno Giovanna. No one knows why Luca was at the airport this morning. However, one of the police guards informed me you were there too. I thought I should find you and ask you some questions. Are you a cop? You're joking, right? Luca wasn't just any ordinary thug. He was part of a gang. There are plenty of reasons why he would be targeted. He was the type to earn grudges. However, his boss sees the situation differently. Since they targeted one of his own, the boss thinks that whoever's responsible wanted to smear shit on his face. That is why he told me to take care of the one who was responsible for this. I'm going to ask you, did you meet Leaky Eye Luca at the airport? No. I've never heard of someone called Leaky Eye Luca. You're not sweating. Alright, I'll believe you. Sorry to have bothered you. We're done with the questioning, Ono Giovanni. What's that all about? Remain in your seat. This is where it begins. Your struggle against fate. So it appears Fella Hun, or Bella, I don't know, is the deal of this game. And because there's no introduction, we don't really have any context or anything. But the developer did tell me like more about the intended plot. I think it's kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie, like it doesn't really seem. Well, it's kind of interesting, I guess, but it's mostly just funny to me. Like, yeah. Morioh opened his closed fist, revealing an eyeball. Ah! What is this? I had my hand in a fist the whole time. You're sweating now. See, that's Luca's right eye. He's unconscious anyway, so I brought it along. Little. This is the taste of a liar, Giorno Giovanna. Well. I told you I was done with the questioning, but it seems the situation has changed. You lied. You said that you never met with Luca. Why would you lie about that? Looks like I'll have to figure out the reason why you would lie about that. What are you lot looking at? Are you jealous? I'll gladly let you in on this. My name is Bruno Bucciarati. Answer me. This interrogation has become a torture session. Dismembered finger slid out of Giorno's mouth. This is... So? Isn't my ability chilling? Those are Luca's fingers. In reality, he was finished off. There was no point in keeping him alive. I've never seen Ripple used to transfer body parts before. What's going on? So, judging by the intro, quote unquote, with Popo, in this line, I guess we know Haman naturally, like as a descendant of the Zeppeli family, which is, I don't know how to feel about that really. Feels strange. It felt kind of strange when the seventh Morioh Warrior did it too with Tube and Seven Standards as well. It's it's whatever. I mean, at least we're in Italy. I guess it makes more sense there. You know, yeah. I may well be a human lie detector, but it's not my only ability. Whatever the object, I can put it in your mouth. Oh. There's nothing you can do against it. For example, I could easily put that fire hydrant in your mouth. Of course, you would die from that. A zipper appeared on Jorno's sheet. Talk! If you don't start talking, the torture will keep escalating. You've seen the culprit. Did they tell you to stay quiet? Who attacked Luca? I'll have you talking soon enough. His body. What's going on? Multiple zippers spread across Jorno's body. This is where your journey begins. The choice is yours. Now choose. What will you do? And this is kind of interesting that you can actually help Bruno. And I tried that out. This game is very, very underbaked. So you actually do fight Jorno, but this game doesn't really progress from there. So it is basically just soft locking ourselves. But it's interesting that they plan to give us that choice. So let's defend Jorno. And yeah, very underbaked as you can see. We've no skills. I'm pretty sure none of Bruno's skills work either. And yeah, I really don't have much context with these stands. Muda! Yeah, so Bruno attacking also does nothing to us. And most of his skills aren't programmed into the game. It looks like the status effect from our attack isn't programmed into the game. But overall, yikes. Oh man, and we're only doing like 4 damage, man. Oh my god, this is gonna take forever. Alright, I just switched to the first save file because it has 2 characters in the slot, which makes this go by a lot faster. They do more damage too, so... And actually have skills too, so... It makes this a little more convenient. I wasn't told to bring you back alive. I could fight you here, but... Put it frankly, I'm outnumbered. I do not wish to mess with that ability your friend has, let alone yours, Giorno Giovanna. I'm going to distance myself. I'll distance myself from you and kill you both. Wait, it said... I really didn't want to drag billions into... Thank you for the help, but I must insist you stay out of this. Hey, but we can probably take him down if we work together. You look like you needed the help earlier, and besides, I'm on his list now. I don't like repeating myself, and I feel like trying to dissuade you would be useless. Follow me if you wish, but you bear full responsibility if something happens to you. Oh. That is interesting. So, sneaking around. Oh. Yeah, this game is in a very, very rough state. It's kind of funny, you know, that, like, 7th Morioh Warrior, like, got more accomplished by just making a game by himself than, like, a team of people. That just goes to show you, I think one of the biggest things that kills these fan games is the fact that they have, like if you have just a bunch of idea guys sitting around and throwing out, oh man, wouldn't it be cool if you did this? Wouldn't it be cool if you did that? Kind of, you ever heard of the term design by committee? Usually it doesn't have a good result. I find some things questionable because I do have some context on the story. I'll explain it after I'm through with the demo, I guess. But the people in charge of this project had some ideas that me and the dev were questioned. And brother. So it seems like yeah, okay, this is where the game is. Yeah, this was the same thing I ran into when I assisted Bruno. And if there's nothing beyond this, I'll just yeah, there's nothing beyond this. Alright, guys. I was really excited to dive into this one, but it looks like this is, well, kind of a flub. So what the developer told me was that he was part of the team for this, and this is where he met the disgruntled X7 Stand User 2 dev that told him about some of the problems with that game. I'll run through that really quick. It said, part of the fascinating thing with working on the Geo team is that we got leaks from the disgruntled X7 Stand User 2 dev. I think I lost the notes, but the cliff notes I remember were, the project started as a 4chan thing in RPG Maker 2000, but switched to a more Tumblr-centric team using VX Ace and eventually MV. This violent reshuffling of people is why it's taken so long. Me personally, I don't imagine it releasing ever. Kira would get Killer Queen Requiem in the finale. This ability activated New Game Plus by putting you in a time that changed events around, as well as forcing you to change stands and appearance because your old character canonically dies. On the third loop, Josuke was secretly the killer. What? Okay. Alright, what the fuck? On the fourth loop, Dead Man's questions Kira was revealed to be the villain all along, and beating him is the true ending. The Hanoi Rocks timeline merge that made all JoJo parts happen simultaneously was taken more seriously in canon. People like Gappy or Whole Horse would just be walking around, and the Nijimura Brothers chapter had you sidetracked into JoJo Part 1? What? The name Radio Gaga was used for a stand in 7 Stand User 2 before the name was taken for Part 8. The stand user was a tree or a musician or something, and the side quest would end up with you hosting a Woodstock-esque music festival. And the last one, which, if you've seen my last video, you already saw this. Gun Hogo was originally the OC of someone who left the team. The current lead dev has turned her into a MILF fetish character and might be funneling Patreon money into commissioning art of that. Jesus Christ. Oh yeah, my last note, personally for me, don't make a fucking Patreon for copyrighted material. You know, that's kind of illegal. The Seven Standards of 2 devs are lucky they didn't get their asses shut down by cease and desist. But as for the problems with this game, well, first I'll address the radio character. Felahun was actually meant to be the soul of Diablo, manifesting back into the world through Hanoi Rocks. So this is, once again, a direct sequel to Seventh Stand User, and oh my god, like I said before, if you're not going to like follow up on the thematic like purpose of the Seven Stand User, why even make a Seven Stand User sequel, man? Like, you could just make a Part 5 fan game. That's what Chell Chico's doing with Hereditadoro. He's just making his own original story. Basically, your character is another Doppio, in a sense. And he's forcing you into the story of Part 5 so he can obtain Requiem and just hold his place in power. The developer says there are big disagreements on how to reveal this to the player, but the way I wanted to do it was to have Felahun be a Sukuna JJKS figure who basically gives you power you need in return for moving your ability to choose during particular moments, taking over your body and doing shit to set his plans in motion. It's like almost certainly meant for like a bad ending route, but I don't know if that's very compelling. You know, like, it doesn't give me much to think about versus thinking about the mechanisms of fate and how much like if one person lives, another dies, and all that, and figuring out the sacrifices worth making between like people's lives and stuff. You know? Next thing, the developer said he was the lead artist, the dialogue writer, and the side quest handler. Everything else was the lead dev, and everyone else on the project was just a idea guy, basically, which is why it was never finished. Of course, that's another thing that kills these fan games, is that people want to sit around and be like, "Oh man, this would be cool, that would be cool," but if you sit around making these concepts all day, you will never ever make something worthwhile out of them, ever. Another big thing is the stands of this game. Well, the developer said there were a lot of video game references for stand names, like Toho or Zelda, because the lead developer was a fan. He did not personally like this choice, and neither do I. Because when you're making a JoJo fan game, it's not simply like just making music references is just a willy-nilly thing, you know. Like, sure, yeah, you like pick the songs you like, and there's nothing wrong with video game music. I'm not one of those people who say, oh, you know, that's not real music. Nah, I'm not that much of a boomer. I think the problem is that you lose out on some of the depth and the nuances of the cultural like references and impact. Like, what are you gonna do if you call your stand like Megalovania or something? You know, like what? You're just gonna make it like about bones or something? Like, it loses some of the identity and the implied meaning. And next to the actual stands of the series, it's kind of jarring, you know. Like, if you have, well, like I said, Megalovania next to Moody Blues, King Crimson, Gold Experience, it's just sticks out. There are some stands he sent to me. He said, with the 7th Gangstar, let's see, some of the stands he told me about was Pollyanna, Flying Man, Paradise Line, Bossa Nova, and he said every Swarm stand was from Toho. Oh my god. Pollyanna's design was just Gygas from Mother. Flying Man's design was just Flying Man from Mother. These weren't placeholders or anything. These were, like, actual stands that were meant to be playable throughout the whole game. I'd genuinely rather take Rick Astley and Never Gonna Give You Up over just shamelessly ripping off Mother. By the way, that's an actual stand in 7th Stand User 2. And, oh my fucking god, man. Like, I get the project was started on 4chan. And, of course, you're gonna have meme songs, but have a soul about it, you know? Be sincere. That's what's missing. Sincerity. You know? I like to find new music from playing these games. I'm not here to get a stand, and it's just some shit I'd hear on the Shrek soundtrack. What else did the dev have to say about this? I'm sorry if it seems like I'm pissed off, because I am, and it's not because, oh, look, the demo was 5 minutes long, and it's not because these ideas were stupid, but they are, of course. It's because, like I said before, the 7th Morioh Warrior developer, he made a more effective demo for a fan game by himself than 2 entire teams dedicated to projects. I'm going to go on a rant here, and I think that's what this video is mostly going to be. It's just going to be a big fucking rant. I think that's what kills these fan game projects, is this lack of a vision. It's made by people who like JoJo, but they don't really understand it. They don't really engage with it on a deeper level. It's a lot like the Star Wars sequels that are just, you're making Star Wars films that are about Star Wars rather than just making films. You know, and here it's when you get too much of a meta narratively referencing yourself, it's like fucking incest. You're just gonna get a big, stupid, just messed up result that doesn't really represent anything. It doesn't convey anything. My definition for art, personally, is intentionality. You're trying to convey something. You're trying to send a message. Art is emotion. Art is an artist sharing something. The reason I love 7th Stand User isn't because of some weird autistic hyperfixation. You know, I get bored of the game all the time. I get burnt out. That's the reason I really haven't been uploading walkthroughs of it, because, you know, I see things like this. Other things catch my attention. I do other things. You know? But the thing that keeps me coming back to the 7th Stand User is that it feels like a work of love, of genuine passion. That Clayman sat down and read over part 3 and had her husband read over it also and look over the game with her, and then just put her heart and soul into a love letter to JoJo. And Araki himself making JoJo in and of itself is a love letter to humanity as a whole. And so when you have a project that's made by people who consume these things and they don't really get it doesn't really click. And I mean, it's a good reason. The developer told me that he was like 15 when he worked on this. I'm sure other people who are working on this are around a similar age. And it's the same case for the 7th Stand User 2 devs. You know, the young people who were working on this, like 10 years ago? I can't blame them for like, not really, like making a perfect product. And a perfect product isn't what I'm asking for. Not at all. Not in the slightest. No. Seven Stand User's not perfect. Hell no, I have a lot of problems with that game. No. What I'm asking for is sincerity. That's what I make this channel for. I find niche shit, and I feel like the sincerity and the passion and the creativity and the talent of other people to get a spotlight shined on it. And it's especially because I see people who can create things, and I envy them. I envy them more than anything else in the fucking world. Because I wish I had the talent to be like the 7th Morioh Warriors developer, or to be like Clayman, or to be like Chico, or just any of these people who can create things. I wish I was like a Rocky. I wish I was like all the creators I look up to. Their ability to create things, I think, in my eyes, is one of the most sacred things in the entire world. So this is a heartfelt message to all the creators out there. If you want to make a fan game, if you want to do something big, I have some advice for you, and the 7th Morioh Warrior dev has some advice for you. This is what he sent me. A lot of my experience working on these failed projects and then this current one has given me a lot of insight on this shit, and I can help you out there if need be. My general notes on what to do and what not to do are: 1. Understand realistically how long something would take. Genuinely ask yourself if you want to be working on this project while you're 2 years older. Make these things only if you know you can finish them. 2. The benefit of a fan project is getting to borrow already used assets, ideas, and characters. If you're forcing these things into something else, a la 7 Stand User 2 making all these unique graphics, maybe it's time to move beyond a fan project. 3. A serviceable complete project is always better than an amazing complete one. 7 Stand User has major issues, but nobody cares because it's still fun on its own terms as a JoJo fanfic simulator. 4. All the original character content distracted from the real appeal of 7 Stand User, which is getting to be JoJo's best friend. There's a reason Clayman left even shit like Vins as optional post-game stuff. 5. 7 Stand User in his current state through years and years of updates and iteration, so don't worry about being as big. 6. Only put the effort into things you can reuse. 7 Stand User gains a lot out of having very limited graphics that it stole mostly from Stardust Crusaders and Final Fantasy Legend. It allows content to be made quicker. I especially fucked this up by doing shit in 7th Morioh Warrior, like rewriting most dialogue based on protagonist's personality, when realistically nobody cares that much. And finally, keep a very limited scope, and don't be afraid to say no to ideas if they'll add a lot of extra runtime. And additionally, work ethic. The big detail I forgot to say is that if you want something to get done, then you should set aside time every week, day, / where you know you can work on it. This sounds tough, but art is ultimately a sacrifice. And if you're not willing to sacrifice your time, energy, or whatever to it, then that's good, because now you should know that you should limit your scope or work on an easier project. I think I agree with pretty much everything the 7th Morioh Warrior dev said here. Start small, guys. Start small. Baby steps. Don't try to jump into making the next Undertale or Deltarune or any of that, because everyone starts small. If you try to learn how to paint just to make one painting, and that's the only painting that you ever make, it's going to not only be a shitty painting, you have wasted your time, because there's so much more than making one single thing. You know? It's the creation process as a whole. Like the developer said, art is a sacrifice. I think that's what makes it beautiful. Um, so yeah. Sorry to have yapped. Sorry to if I disappointed. Um, I'm kind of disappointed myself, but again, I'm not angry at like the developers or anything. I'm more just I think these serve as good examples for how to proceed forward. Especially if any of you who are watching are like working on things like this, any fan game, doesn't have to be JoJo, or just any game in general, any project in general. Really. Just keep some of that advice in mind, and I wish you the greatest of luck. Because you deserve it, you know? And I suppose I'm out. I'll see you guys next time, and hopefully I have something more positive to share. Uh, bye-bye.